the humaneAI pin got worse. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe because this thing is already terrible, but now the batteries sometimes catch on fire. So that's fun. Now, if you don't remember where this thing is because it feels like it's been a year since I talked about this, here's a little recap. The humaneAI pin is one of the first devices to utilize AI in this kind of way. So it obviously, at the very least, was going to have issues. The whole idea with it was you would be able to ask it questions and it would answer you correctly and it would basically replace your phone. Now, since this thing has come out, we understand that it is a terrible device. Like, it just sucks in pretty much every single way. First off, you clip it to your shirt, which is not only kind of annoying because it's on your shirt and it bounces around if you move, but it's also a computer with a battery that gets hot, sometimes really hot, so you don't really want that clipped to your shirt, and the projector to read things that goes on your palm is also not the greatest. It just doesn't work super well. It's a cool idea. It just doesn't work super well. And also the battery on this thing is horrible. Like, the battery life just isn't there, which makes sense. It's tiny. I wouldn't expect it to have good battery life, but it needs to. That's the whole idea behind it. And that leads us to our Marquez Brownlee review, where he called the device the worst product I've ever reviewed. And he said for now at the end, if that makes it any better. And as much as that review was entirely justified and valid, a lot of people got really upset about it. Like, I watched the entire review. He was extremely fair, and he praised the tech when it did something well. But this thing just sucks. That's just the way it is. But a lot of people were defending this product relentlessly. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was AI or something. I don't really know. Either way, people defended this product really, really hard, and I think that made the backlash towards it a lot worse. Because if you look at a product like this, it's horrible. It literally doesn't do anything it sought out to do. It doesn't have a purpose in existing. Your phone is just better in every single way. It has no function. Oh, also, it costs $700, and it's a $24 a month subscription to even use it because you need data to ask AI questions. So they sold a product that is just not done. Like, it's just not a finished product, and they sold it at full price, and then there was a bunch of people defending it for seemingly no reason. I think they made the dog pile so much worse because if a bunch of people are defending something that makes no sense at all, it makes you a little bit angry. It's like, what are you people doing? This thing sucks. Why? But that leads us to the next problem with this little pin. Humane, the company that made the humaneAI pin, has warned people to stop charging their pins because they might catch on fire. Yeah, that's not good, is it? This device released like not super long ago, and it's already having issues with catching on fire, and there's definitely not that many sold because this thing is expensive and stupid and not many people bought it. I can guarantee you that. Now, the specific thing that has the battery problems is the battery charging case. And if you own this thing and actually use it and like it, that sucks because that charging case is basically the AirPods case. It keeps it charged while you're on the go, and if you can't do that, that's pretty bad because remember, this thing has horrid battery life, like a couple hours tops. If you can't recharge it while you're out and about, that makes it basically useless. And Humane has said that this only affects that specific thing. The battery supplier they were using only gave them batteries for the charging case, so all their other stuff should be fine. And they've also halted orders of the battery charging case, which makes sense. They don't want you charging with it, they don't want you buying it either. And realistically, they're probably doing it like this because they want to avoid a recall, because if this gets forcefully recalled, they're gonna have to replace every single one, and I'm sure there's not that many, but this company is not in a good spot right now, and a recall would cost them a lot of money. So it makes sense why they would try to avoid a recall, because the consolation they also offered for this is terrible. They offered 2 months of free subscription to the data plan, so like $48, which is not even the cost of the charging case. I think it was like $60. I could be wrong on that, because I can't see the price anymore. It just says out of stock. But I don't even think it matches up with the price of the actual charging case, which is kind of funny because it's not like Humane's paying those rates for the data. They probably have some deal where they get the rates lower and they're upcharging you. And if they aren't making money on selling the data to use it, I would be really surprised. Yeah, but not the best consumer consolation prize. They were specifically asked about giving replacements and they did not respond, which in my mind would be the de facto thing you would do. Just replace all of them because you sold bad batteries. And the fact that they didn't makes me feel like they're not going to do it. But if I had to guess, I think they're desperately trying to avoid a recall, because if it gets recalled, not only do you have to deal with giving everyone new devices or whatever the issue is, you have to notify the person with the device, like sending them letters and things like that, which costs money. You have to ship them a new device, which also costs money. And then you also have the bad press of you having a recall. So it makes sense why they try to avoid it, because the last time a major device started exploding, it was dogpiled on. The Samsung Note 7 had a really big tendency to explode, which kind of sucks because I liked this phone. I actually wanted this phone before I found out they started exploding, so I'm glad I didn't get it. But yeah, that was really bad PR for Samsung. Like, so many of these phones were catching on fire and exploding. It was bad. If you look it up on Google, there's like dozens of images, which is not normal for something like this. But if all these cases are defective, I do hope that they just refund people and or give them a new case, because it'd be kind of wrong not to. At the same time, though, you did buy the humaneAI pin. Like, that obviously wasn't going to pan out well regardless, so I have a hard time really getting riled up about it. We all knew this thing was going to suck. Anyways, so knowing everything you do with a humaneAI pin, what do you think this company is worth? Because they think HP should buy them for $1 billion. And obviously, that is a pipe dream. They're not getting $1 billion for humaneAI. Like, seriously, this company is not worth like anything. They made a dead-on-arrival device no one can use anymore because it might catch on fire. And they had the audacity to ask for $1 billion. And I mean, that's definitely not gonna happen, to be clear. They asked about 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, their batteries didn't catch on fire. So they're definitely not gonna be getting $1 billion from HP. That would have been insane to begin with, but all these AI products really just do suck. Like, the Rabbit R1 also sucks. And it might even be worse than just sucking at this point. It might have just been like a massive scam, because the guy who made it also apparently had a bunch of crypto stuff going on, and that stuff is mega sketchy. CoffeeZilla made a video about it because that's his thing. And yeah, it's like this Gamma NFT project thing, and it didn't pan out in their favor, which is why the Rabbit R1 exists. And yeah, it's just really sketchy. Like, it doesn't look legitimate. But yeah, these devices suck because they're not ready, and they won't be for a very long time. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Minimum like 5 years, because even if the AI gets good, the batteries are still gonna suck. Unless we discover some revolutionary new battery tech, they're gonna suck for a long time. Just because batteries suck. And AI is also increasingly showing its flaws, especially when it comes to looking things up and getting information, which was like the entire point of these two devices. Google's summary feature basically told people to consume a bunch of things that would kill them, and also told them to do things that would kill them. And ChatGPT is not much better. You know the Bing AI, whatever it's called? Yeah, that's just ChatGPT. So if it says dumb things, that's just ChatGPT. And out of these two devices, the Rabbit R1 grabbed my attention way more. Not only is it cheaper, it looks way cooler. The humaneAI pin just looks like a bad Apple product, which I guess makes sense because I'm pretty sure the guy who designed it was like an Apple designer. And it's not like a bad design visually. Obviously, it is a bad design because it sucks, but the Rabbit R1 just looks cooler. But again, both these devices are useless. If you buy one, you might have some fun with it for a bit, but you're probably not gonna get actual use out of it. All of the trailers you see where people are asking a question and they're getting like direct responses, none of that's real. And to be clear what I mean, it technically works. Like, you can ask it a question and it'll respond. My problem is it's always wrong. I have no idea what's the regulation on it, but it sounds kind of fishy because it is like false advertising. Like, you're showing me something I can't do, and I don't think I'll ever be able to do in this like device's lifetime. Like, when do you think the Rabbit R1 or humaneAI pin is gonna be able to order me an Uber and I will follow it confidently? Like, when is that gonna happen? Because as of now, that feels like it'll never happen. If I'm waiting for an Uber, I want to be able to see where they are. I don't think that's gonna change unless it's consistent every time and I'm never worried about my Uber not showing up to where I am. I'll stick to having a screen, thank you. And like, what if I need to text the guy? I'm gonna talk into the humaneAI pin or Rabbit R1 like a doofus and have to listen to it back like a doofus? That's stupid. And with how much information these things get wrong, I just wouldn't trust it to actually tell me things. Like, there's been way too many Google searches recently where I look it up and I read the AI response and I just know that it's wrong. Like, it's blatantly wrong. And I'm expecting to use this stuff. You're in your mind. Because if I get the wrong info, that's not on Google, that's on me. So why am I gonna use Google? Unless Google wants to take responsibility, then we're all for it. I'm all for it. I'll report on made up bullshit if Google takes responsibility. But until then, I'm not doing it. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe to you. Follow me on Twitter @spatnz1. Click that down, check out more of my content, and have a good one.